My name is Kasande. Sometimes I think the things that have happened to me were meant to happen to me. I was told that my mother died the day I was born. She died giving birth to me. My father became both my mother and father. He brought me up and cared for me dearly. He did not have a lot of money. He told me that I was all he cared for in the world. I can say that, although we were poor, I lacked nothing. He fed me, he clothed me, but above all, he loved me. One day, my hero, the love of my life, got an accident. It was fatal. He was put in ICU. When I asked the doctors, they told me that they did not know if he could come out of the coma. I prayed, but he still died. When I lost my father, I didn't know what it meant to lose a loved one. I didn't know where to go. I tried living in our house, but money lenders came with agreements and took over our house. No relative wanted anything to do with me. Then I remembered my grandfather was alive, and my father had taken me there once. With the prospect of starvation and death on the street, I decided to head to the village and stay with my grandfather. My grandfather lived alone and he was an alcoholic. When I came, he was not actually bothered whether I was there or not. We did not talk that much, but at least I had a place to stay and food to eat. Life was just too lonely, but I never gave up on the prospect of one day going back to school and claiming the future that my dad used to promise me. I learned to do work that I didn't know. I learned how to dig, fetch water, even cook. All this I did because I needed to show my grandfather that somehow I was useful. Many times I began noticing people's gazes at me. But at that time, I would not have known exactly what took their fancy on me. But I would notice. There is a particular man who would make me feel so uncomfortable. I notice him and I would feel the intensity of his gazes more than most. At times, I would hear his footsteps behind me when I came from the well. Although I was young, I could tell his intentions were evil. Little had I known that this man had actually met my grandfather, and negotiations for my marriage to him were in advanced stages. One day, my grandfather called me out and I found him seated with this man whose gazes always sent fear in me. He had just got a goat and a few beers. The last man in my world, my only guardian, was merely discarding me off to this stranger. My story is not of a happy ending. I went to this man by force from day one. I was beaten. I was forced into a marriage. I never stopped to think about dreams of my father for me. Sometimes, I look back at my dreams for the woman I had wanted to become, and now I'm convinced that perhaps I will never be that person. I also can't stop wondering how many women are living the story of my life. Many women and girls are forced into marriage, each with a unique story, but the same trauma. If you're watching or listening to this, please do your best to stop this from happening to the next victim, a girl just like me.